Hi y'all, what's up? I'm back. This is Frosty Capone with Frosty Vision. Like, comment, and subscribe. I've been meaning to get back to this a couple of weeks ago because I am truly still highly upset at this Ron DeSantis thing saying how slavery benefited the slave by teaching them certain trades such as blacksmith. The blacksmith. Do you know what the blacksmith was or is? A blacksmith is a person who fashioned metals for certain items. Say like a horseshoe. Back in those days, they rode horses. Or whenever they started making horseshoes, they developed a way. I mean, damn. Hold on, I said that wrong. My bad, y'all. So back in the day when they rode horses, they developed horseshoes to protect the hooves of the horses. So these were these iron horseshoes. Now, these are made out of metal, and if anybody knows anything about blacksmithing, you take the metal, you melt it down, you shape it, you pound it, you cool it, and then, you use it for whatever that metal that you just blacksmithed for. Okay? Now let me tell you something. You mean to tell me that you're going to take millions upon millions upon millions, not to mention the millions of slaves that died, captured on the way here, just being chunked over the side of the slave ship, you're going to tell me that people that you snatched from a civilization that already had means and knowledge of irrigation, construction, blacksmith, agriculture, and a lot of those things that they were already prolific in, and that no matter how primitive you may think that village was, they were already prolific in that. So blacksmithing, agriculture, construction, anything that you say black folks learn and wouldn't have learned if you wouldn't have stole us, beaten us, committed an atrocious level of genocide on the African people. You bamboozled a lot of even our own tribesmen. We were innocent, some of us. Got tricked into whatever wealth, fortune, fame, whatever, and you sold off your own free people. I mean, some of those were captured Africans from another tribe or however it went. But anyway, we know how that goes, and that's messed up. We also did have a hand in slavery, but come on now, at the end of the day, you mean to tell me that a society and societies of people that were already extremely prolific in a lot of the skills that Ron DeSantis of Florida, happened to say that we learned and got the nerve to kind of insinuate that we would not have known had it not been for slavery, is a daggone shame, cuz I'm here to tell you, dude. DeSantis, I don't know what's up with him, dude. He like Trump. He don't like niggers. He don't like the Negro. He don't like the black man. He don't like the colored. He does not like the African American. And he dog show don't like the full-blooded African either then. If any way you slice it, this is one of the most hateful things that I've heard. And I've heard many. But come on now. And they're not just hateful, but to excuse yourself of the responsibility, you and your people. Come on now. Even if you aren't historically of those people, you still claiming this stuff out of dislike and your stereotypical view of the black man and how we were thought of during slavery. We were savages. We were ignorant. We didn't know nothing. We had to be trained. We had to be forced to learn. Look, man, y'all had to beat the mess out of us because we were forced under our will and had to endure months and months of cramped living spaces, very little food, water, people dying all around us, sleeping and waking up day in and day out in our own pee and poop. Come on now. But we already had where you, DeSantis, claim that we benefited from because of slavery. No. We already knew that. A lot of us was chunking, yeah, you can say spear chunker, okay, whatever. Yeah. A lot of us were chunking spears at y'all, and a lot of those spears had metal tips. I can guarantee in some way, shape, fashion, or form, and a lot of metal weapons that we had also were made from blacksmithing practices that we established, because a lot of what is made today in this world came from us, came from the motherland, came from Africa. You're not finna debate me on that, man. I don't care, DeSantis. I don't care how much anybody in this country hates us. It can be the Klan. It can be the Nazi skinheads. I don't care. You ought to know. You read enough of the history. You know enough, but then again, y'all all have your own rhetoric and your own history that you want each other to follow to try to discount the actual claims of the originators of everything on this doggone planet, created by the God Almighty above. And to say that we benefited from skills such as learning how to sow and learning how to plant and grow crops and harvest them, and how to build houses and how to dig irrigation ditches and plumbing and all of that. Dude, there are so many civilizations at that time that were already prolific in that. But you had to go to maybe the lesser, I wouldn't even say lesser advanced, but those that are living a more simpler life. They didn't need all the extravagances of, I guess you could say, a more civilized society. But a lot of those things from the civilized society, you learn from us. From Africa, the Garden of Eden, and on up throughout the world. And history even shows it. I'm just upset. And if anybody believes that, yes, black people did benefit, because if it weren't for slavery, they wouldn't have been able to have the knowledge and skills to do certain things that they're working to do today to make money. Come on now. Even with all of those skills that we learned from slavery, even though we already knew that we could already do that, we already knew it. The only thing that you could say was, those same skills we already had, y'all beat us to do it the way you wanted us to do for you. That's it. We were trained to do it according to your specifications in the society that you were whipping us and forcing us to the last breath in our body to do. I'm not going for it. And then steadily trying to put into the school curriculum in Florida, one of the worst states for slavery, one of the most horrendously, I don't even know how to put it, man. It's just like a lot of the deep south states there, Louisiana, Florida, Texas. I mean, just say the whole entire South, where it was like hardcore slavery. We didn't benefit from whatever we learned to do during slavery. We only learned to do the same things our forefathers and foremothers and those before them already knew to do. We were just forced in a slavery way to do it the way you wanted to. You wanted us to make these certain things using blacksmithing You wanted us to do these things using irrigation. You taught us how to do it a certain way to benefit your people, your society, so you can make money. And some of the things we had to tell y'all when the generations came, and we can speak enough English, and we say, well, yes, so boss, but it'd be a lot easier if we do this, do it like that. We'll get beat, damn near killed, probably hung for giving massa a bright and brilliant suggestion on how to be more beneficial and profitable into what you got us doing, that we about to die from doing in the cotton fields and in tobacco fields, sugar cane, all of that. All of the stuff that slaves were doing, our people already knew how to do. We were just forced to do it because we had no choice. You scared us to death. Many of us weren't as scared, but when we rose up, you kept killing us, and you kept killing us, and you kept killing us. Till finally enough people got on the bandwagon, and whatever political means came across, now finally we abolished slavery. But come on now, on the real end, we know it wasn't for us in the righteousness of our freedom. We know that. I mean, it benefited us in a way, but then again, let's go back to how slavery benefited us by teaching us certain trades. Come on. Now, we're prolific in this, and during this time, even before, during, and after slavery in America, we have came up with so many incredible inventions that the principles of a lot of what's going on today are still being replicated into current events. Something that was created 300 years ago, a lot of the principles that a slave came up with. The idea slave came up with while he was enslaved. Even maybe it was a free black man. But some of those things and those principles are still going strong in the items and you know, the items that we have in this day and age. On the real. How did we benefit from slavery? We only learned how to do what we already knew according to your specifications. We knew blacksmithing, but no, you want us to do blacksmithing for this and these things. We already knew agricultural. We already knew agricultural things. We already knew irrigation. We knew those things. You just wanted us to do it your way, and you forced us into it. You killed many of us for the slightest slack in the flow of their work. They were tired. They were hungry. They were starving. Not just hungry, but starving. You forced us into the trades that you say we benefited from. And then after slavery, we trying to get on our own according to what the promise for being a freed man and freed woman was supposed to be. Yes, we blacksmith. Yes, we seamstresses. Yes, we tailors. Yes, we home builders. Yes, we farmers. Yeah, we were great in that. We could do it, but the benefits and the opportunity for us to be successful was stifled from us. So we didn't even benefit what was supposed to have been a trade that slavery we were supposed to benefit from, because we learned that trade. Man, come on now. And then DeSantis wants the curriculum in Florida to be flipped when it comes to the subject of slavery, or just scrub it completely. No, buddy. That ain't finna happen. We ain't finna take that. Nah. Not even somebody in the desert state of Arizona is not finna take that. With my Texas roots, Texas was the last state to know what, we's free? It don't matter when we were free. We're still suffering oppression to this day. Things have gotten better, but it seems like the more things change, the more they stay the same. And the way that they stay the same is the way they keep flip-flopping rights and privileges upon us. Oh, affirmative action. I haven't even really looked into that, but where was the benefit for us in affirmative action? Well, a lot of us that are African Americans and other ethnic racial groups benefited because of the bias that was put in place to fight against the biasness in the workplace and in schools, so that those of us of that particular ethnic group or groups have a shot over the more favored white folks. And this is exactly what our system, this government structure and this job structure and economic system in this country was set up to benefit them, not us. Come on now. It's a very great benefit. Somebody who has committed so many crimes to the level of felony that Trump has done, yeah, the whole world sees his mugshot now. But about 20 minutes later, he paid a $200,000 bond? Really? A $200,000 bond? And he walked right. So it was just a revolving door thing for him. And he still got the opportunity to run for president. But let it have been me. Let it have been you. Or let it have been a black government official that was high up enough to where if it was a white government official to do the same thing, they'd give him basically a slap on the wrist. That's what they're doing with Trump right now. Just little taps on the wrist, though. Don't get fooled. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Trump, I don't think he will. I think he will. Somehow, some way, he gonna walk. And there's going to be all kinds of other news and things going on, especially with the presidential race going on right now. He missed the debate, but what was the highlight of that? He missed the debate because he turning himself in. But he ain't in jail. He posted bail. So let's see. What is it? If you got a bail or a bond, and you want to bond out, you got to pay 10% of what your total bail is. Or bond is. So let's see. $2 million bond. 10% of that is $200,000. He probably had that laying around. That was probably in his pocket, or he pulled out his checkbook and just wrote it. It was already paid. It was probably already paid to the jail before he took his mugshot. But they knew he was going to go right out. And whether it was 20 minutes, an hour and a half, 3 hours, it don't matter. He was in there and out of there, cuz. In there and out of there with a mugshot being booked and paid his bond in time shorter than a lot of us will get our number 3 order from our favorite fast food restaurant. And they still get the order wrong. And they don't want to refund us. But he was in there and out there, and he can still run for president. Let it have been either one of us. We'd be in prison right now. They would have squashed that. I would say, let's see, January 6th, when this stuff really came to the head, and then the documents a little time after that. By now, we would have had a flat sentence right now. If it would have been any person of color. By now, I don't care how high up in government you would have been. By now, even if it would have been a little prolonged, but by now, somebody'd be in jail. Somebody'd be in prison. And the darker we are, I believe, the longer the time it would be for us. For doing a third of what Trump just now did, and is still guilty of, and is still building up and building up and building up. You want to talk about some favoritism? That's that Trump thing, and his criminal, his criminal direction right now, his presidential nominee and running, right now, and then DeSantis, and then a bunch of other folks in other states is trying to go the same route as DeSantis to basically wipe our history off the map. Well, it wasn't that. They still want us to get over it and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But how can we pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and get over it when you holding us down by our bootstraps and we can't even get up and out of to be able to get over it? Y'all need to really look into this, man. See what's really going on. I mean, who was that? Malcolm that said the revolution will not be televised? In this day and age with all these camera phones and all of this, man, come on now. I can pick up my Motorola phone right now and I can televise something. Anybody can do that. But I don't know. Maybe the revolution will not be televised because the powers that be may go ahead and cut all broadcasts of the ultimate of a revolution about to start. And it might not, I don't think it's going to be just all African American and white folks. No. There's too many of us that's dealing with this. My Native American brothers. I'm living in the United States of America. But whatever their people called it, whatever my Native brothers and sisters called it, that's what this place is really called. This is not my country. I am by citizen, by law, I'm a citizen, and it's my country. But, and I didn't steal nothing. I was stolen from, brought here to a land that was being jacked, ripped off, stolen from the original inhabitants of this land here called America. Meanwhile, we still got our Native brothers and sisters in reservations. As far as I know, it ain't right, bro. We got our Hispanic brethren from south of the border. Many of them are trying to get over here to the United States for righteous reasons. They're not all criminals. They're not all rapists. They're not all gangsters. Come on now. So many people are still want to get on that bandwagon of thinking that because if you're from south of the border, you got to be a criminal. You cannot be any good. But come on now. Real Americans in the southwest portion of the United States, how many Chicanos and Chicanas do we know? And they's cool. Their family came from south of the border before they became natural born American citizens because they were born here. But their parents and grandparents were from south of the border. Folks are still trying to come over here for a real reason for a betterment in life. Not anything criminal. But dude, why do we have to really get smacked in the face though? At the end of the day, what I'm talking about is trying to sweep under the rug the truth of what slavery was. Slavery. Forced to work. Forced to learn a new language and a new culture. While they tried everything to kill, not suppress, but kill any remnant of our original origins. So much to the fact that we got somebody like Ron DeSantis trying to say, basically, y'all weren't crap up here, or knowledge of nothing before slavery, but because of slavery, now you can change a tire. You can kiss my natural black tail and every red hair on it one freckle at a time. I ain't believing that, man, and I ain't going for it, man. Do not get rid of, at all, black history, the real black history, in any school across America. Do not get rid of it from any library, any media source. We need to keep the narrative going. Bro, we matter. We all matter. Every single black life matters. Light skin, high yellow, dark chocolate, caramel, all of our different hues. We matter. That's about all I'm finna say about that right now. But that's what I'm talking about.